Ever wondered what would happen if you put the military might of a modern nation against the prowess and discipline of the Roman legions? If you put an entire modern country in the ancient world? We'll try to answer those questions and more.
It is the year 2024. Europe is once again at war, and Belgium is still haunted by the horrible defeats it suffered during the world wars, always being treated as the speed bump of Europe. Only if it could have a chance to prove its strength, and no longer being a bargaining chip between France and Germany.
And then, it happened.
But a few very important problems arise as soon as this change happens. Belgium has a population of 12 million in 24 AD. Do you know what that means? It means that it's the most densely populated country in the world. The Roman Empire, which was the second biggest empire on Earth, had a population of 50 million.
Everyone in Belgium is shocked at what is happening. I mean, wouldn't you? And worst of all, Germanic tribesmen tried to raid several Belgian towns on the border. Everyone is in a panic. And quite frankly, the worst thing of all, since YouTube is down, they can't watch their favorite YouTuber, Historical Side Quest, and his newest video. Sorry. Who are these people? Why are they dressed like this? And what do they want? But the biggest threat to Belgium hasn't even revealed itself yet.
But at some point, some officials managed to figure out what is happening, leaving the nation in a state of shock. With citizens all across the country panicking, confusion is the most present sentiment along the Belgians. How could this happen? Why did it happen? Was it an act of God? Nobody has the answers. But sooner or later, they must figure out what must be done to fix this situation, before Belgium even manages to assert its influence in the region. Its economy would be destroyed. Belgium is a nation highly dependent on outside imports, especially food and petroleum. Without those, the population of Belgium would be starving, and most of their vehicles would stop running. So, looking to the east, it would conquer the vast forests of the Germanic tribes, and in a move that would shock today's climate activists across the world, quickly deforests almost all of the Netherlands and northern Germany. After that, a quick agricultural revolution would take place, with thousands of tractors and tens of thousands of farmers moving to the annexed regions to prepare the land for agricultural development. At the same time, since this is the antiquity, the petroleum deposits in northern Germany are still fresh, so they would be exploited as well to fuel the Belgian economy. But the Belgians are still not safe. They would need to vastly increase their military spending, as well as create factories to fuel the Belgian army to better defend their borders. With the danger of economic collapse almost avoided, Belgium can breathe a sigh of relief, but not for long because at this time, Belgium should have been a Roman territory. But to the surprise of the Romans, they lost communication to that part of the empire. The emperor, Tiberius, assumes it's probably a German army that decided to invade the Romans as revenge for the recent Roman incursions into Germania. Tiberius would slowly prepare to send a legion or two to retake the province, but then stranger and stranger news would arrive. Giant towers of blue crystals appeared in Belgica, and more than that, strange people with strange languages. Nevertheless, Tiberius still sends 3 legions to deal with the Belgians, but what happens next would be a massacre. The Belgians would try to warn the Romans at first, and instead try to establish peaceful contact with them, but it would be to no use. The territory is rightfully Roman after all.
Now, who do you think is going to win? The Romans, who have this? Or the Belgians, who have this? Or this? Or this? Even if the Romans managed to get a hold on modern weapons somehow. Sorry Timmy, I know you love the Roman Empire and all, but simply giving them an AR-15 wouldn't make them win the war, and I'll tell you why. They would not be able to recreate the weapons, as it is not as clear-cut as copying a weapon. They would have to go through hundreds of years of innovation, start the Industrial Revolution, create factories, make the necessary research to create the required materials to make a gun, and get the knowledge on how to extract those materials.
With the war starting, the Romans would face defeat after defeat, with most battles ending with a rout after the first shots are fired. After a while, they would be able to accommodate to the sound of guns, but that still doesn't mean that the Romans could combat the superior firepower of the enemies. This continues until about half of France is captured, with the Romans turning to a form of guerrilla warfare, but it is mostly ineffective as they do not possess firepower. The Belgians finally send a diplomat to Rome to end the war. The diplomat was no warrior like the Romans expected, but a man simply dressed in some sort of black clothing, and he was out of shape as well. The Romans wondered, are we being defeated by these savages? They even wear pants.
You need to leave!
So with the Senate deciding to continue the war, it leaves the Belgians with no choice. They send a helicopter to capture the emperor. Now the Romans officially sign a peace treaty and finally bring an end to the war. With Belgium now being the victor, you would assume that a period of peace would befall Europe. But this is where you are wrong, dear viewer. You see, Belgium is divided by two peoples, the Flemish and the Walloons. And there has been a separatist movement calling for Flemish independence. And in a world such as first century Europe, where Belgium is the most powerful country in the world, we could see a civil war erupting between the two sides. Now this is where it would get fun, since the southern Walloons would have a smaller population. Then the Flemish, it is likely they would seek help from other nations, calling in the Roman Empire as help, and in exchange they would teach them various technologies. On the other hand, the Flemish would probably arm German tribes, who would probably do various skirmishes into Roman territories in exchange for more weapons. The Roman manpower is extremely helpful for the Walloons, and they managed to push deeper into Flemish territory. But then, it would all come to an end when modern-day diseases spread into the Roman population. The entire nation of Belgium doesn't have enough medicine to prevent the catastrophe that is about to happen. The death toll is so high that various parts of the Roman Empire collapses. In the end, the war would probably end up in a stalemate between the two sides. With the war over, a period of uneasy peace would come, with both Wallonia and Flanders slowly expanding in Europe to regions with a lot of resources, as they already know where those resources are located. Due to these two competing powers, it should be inevitable that at some point, other powers would take sides in order to gain weapons and maybe even technological advancements. For example, the Romans, after a period of maybe 80 years, would manage to industrialize and come at least close to the technological advancements of the Flemish and Walloons, even after Rome lost a lot of its population due to plagues. Ironically, the Roman Empire and other empires during this time would behave a lot like the developing countries of our world, with high population growth due to the recent breakthroughs in medicine and standards of living increasing across the board. The future looks uncertain for this world, but it is for sure the start of something great.
Well, whoa, wait. What the hell happened to the people that lived in that region before Belgium appeared? But in the end, an unindustrialized Roman Empire had no chance against a modern nation like Belgium. Unless, what if the Roman Empire managed to industrialize? Here is a video on how that would look like. Or, what if the Byzantines managed to survive to modern day and even fight in the world wars? This was Historical Side Quest, and see you all later.